Okay, Mike, here's that video I was telling you about. First we're gonna go in, and if you right click on computer and hit manage, that's gonna skip from going through the control panel and all of that, and we're gonna go right to disk management. So click on disk management. It'll bring up all your disk here in a second. Mine's going to have a lot, so okay. So on your C drive, which would be right here, it's going to show probably 1 or 2 partitions. You're going to click on the C drive, and then you're going to hit shrink. So I'll go ahead and do it, although I'm not going to shrink mine all the way. Your C drive is probably going to be like 500 gigs, and you've probably used like 90 of that. So what you're going to do is you're going to shrink it at least as big as your C drive is. So if your C drive is, say, 90 or 100 gigs, then you're going to shrink your whole partition, say 100 to 120 gigs, so that you want to give the new partition room enough to fit the total of the C drive in it. So a lot of times this takes a while for it to find what it's going to shrink. Mine may not be able to shrink at all. We'll just see here when it finishes up here. Okay, mine is telling me that I'm only able to shrink it 10,495 megabytes, which is 10 gigabytes. So yours should read probably another, yours is probably going to read 200 or 300 in front of this. So yours would probably read 210459 or 210 megabytes to shrink. So what you're going to want to do is, like I said, see this, my size is 195. So whatever size you see here, you're going to put in for the shrink size here, and then if you just put 3 zeros behind it, so this 195, so if I put in 195 and then I'd want to add 3 zeros behind it and then hit shrink, yours will allow you to shrink it. Mine's not going to allow me because it's not big enough to do that. But when you do this, this will create another partition that's at least the size of this size here. A matter of fact, I might even go, if this says 195, you might make this 205 and then put 3 zeros behind it. Just make sure that it's bigger than this number here, the first 3 digits. So go ahead and hit in like 205000, hit shrink. Okay, when it's done, it'll come back over here, and this may be black. It'll say unallocated on yours. So if you right click on there that says unallocated, go ahead and hit new simple volume, hit next, go ahead and let it use the whole volume. It's just leave that the way it is. Next, let it assign a letter for you, and then here what I usually do is just put backups. I type backups, and then I enable folder and file and folder compression and hit next. And at that point, it's going to create another partition and reformat it. And when you're done, and I'm not going to do mine here, I'm going to cancel out, okay? So when you're done, you'll end up with another drive letter. So when you go in and you look at your disk and you look at your computer, you're going to have a D drive, or like mine says D, my backups. That's what I did there. So you'll end up with another partition over here, and that's what you want for your backups. So once you've done that, you can exit out of your computer management, and from there you can hit your start button, go to the control panel, and then you're going to hit backup and restore. So after you click backup and restore, hit create a system image, it's going to look for that thing here, your backup partition that you just created, and you'll actually see it. It should find it. Okay, on my system here, I don't have a backup partition set yet. So, but on yours, when you click here, it'll show you my backups right here, and then just hit next, 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 and just let it take the defaults, and it'll create your system image for you. And then when it's done, it's going to ask you if you want to create a system recovery DVD, and you'll need to put a blank DVD in your drive and let it do a CD. Actually, it can be a CD, I think, but you can do a CD or a DVD, but create that recovery DVD, and that'll be it. If you have any questions, let me know.